So this dataset has been composed by different cameras that you are going to see later on. So I just wanted to introduce my other fellow co-workers, Valentino, Enrique, and Oscar, who are the ones who have also been working on creating this acquisition system. So the background and the main idea behind all of this is that there are a lot of conventional facial images databases that they're very useful for different research purposes, but some of them often face certain limitations. So, for example, they tend to be too restrictive in controlled environments, or when they are more in the wild images, they tend to lack those restrictions and annotations, and sometimes they're overwhelmed by too many in the wild images. And as well, most of them are not completely balanced between 2D images, videos, and 3D models, excuse me. So in facial identification research, some of the topics that we are more interested in involve determining the impact of, for example, perspective distortion, morphological changes due to aging, facial expressions, and also unique facial marks. The main objective of this dataset creation is that we want to attempt to balance these controlled and real-world situations and portray more realistic and complex scenarios. So what we aim to do with this presentation is to call for volunteers and participants or collaborators. We want to promote this dataset within our community for research related to facial identification and sharing data and acquisition details for reproducibility. This is also a project going that's been done between DASI University and Panacea. For the first part, it's the 2D data collection, and we are using different consumer and commercial grade devices. So for example, you can see here the Domo camera, the Bullet, and the Tapo. These cameras are supposed to represent specific scenarios, such as, for example, the cameras that you find at the ATMs or cameras that you can find in malls or stores. And the three of them are paired with a depth sensor that measures the real-time subject to camera distance. The sensor is the one that you can see here. And the idea is to have varied acquisition conditions, so varying illumination, poses, accessories, occlusion, facial expressions, etc. And the metadata that we want to keep and take a look at is the camera model, the focal length, and of course the subject to camera distance. You can have here a rough estimate of the budget, so you also can have an idea in case you would like to replicate this. On the other hand, for the 3D data collection, we are using this DI4D system that we lovingly call the coffin. And some of you already saw it, and also some of you already tested it. And the whole idea of using this is it's a system that captures photos as photogrammetry, and it has 6 different cameras and takes the photos at the same time. And the idea is to have mostly different facial expressions. So for example, neutral, smile, surprise, anger, and sadness. This is also an estimate of the price of this device in 2017. And this is an example of the data sample. So here we have the 3D model that this device captures. And here we have an idea of the images that we aim to capture using the 2D cameras. So I'm going to very briefly explain the depth sensor. This is basically what it does is it captures infrared light, and it is not exactly going to give you the real subject to camera distance, but an approximate, and then using basic trigonometry, you can calculate that distance. Then we have the camera calibration system, which is this one. This is how we have arranged the acquisition system for the cameras. You can see we have the 3 cameras that I explained previously at varying levels of some of them are eye level, another one is a little bit lower, and another one is on a much higher level. And then the blue camera is the depth sensor, which is located basically, that can have information from all the other cameras and can then be calculated, the subject to camera distance. And we're using some open source code for synchronizing and calibrating these different cameras, including person detection, which we are open to collaborate with any of you if you're interested in this code. And well, the whole idea of this was to please tell you to be a part of this project. If you would like to volunteer, we gave you a flyer with all of the bags that we gave you at the beginning of the Congress. If not, you can just scan the QR code. And also you can have your 3D model of your face. And this data set, the idea is that it can be available for all of the members of the IACI members to use in their own research related to craniofacial identification and facial identification. And if you would like to have more information, or if you would like to give us your insight, feedback, or collaborate with us, we can leave you this email address that you can send us an email. And thank you very much. If you have any questions, let me know.